everybody, my name is Michelle McGinnis. I'm with the NCD Agronomic Division. Most people know us as a soil testing lab, but we also have a nematode assay lab and a plant waste solution and media analysis lab. So the project I'm working on here is in conjunction or in collaboration with the plant lab, where we are looking to fine-tune the sufficiency ranges for hemp. The objective of this project is to evaluate and determine the nutrient concentrations in hemp and use that information in the NCD plant analysis lab report to better offer recommendations to help growers understand the nutrient status of their plant and to manage their fertility. In order to do that, you need to collect samples from your crop, and the lab will analyze the essential plant nutrients such as nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus. They'll compare them to a established range, and then they can tell if you're within the range, too low, or too high. This is done oftentimes to identify plant growth problems to determine if it's a nutrient issue. It's also done to monitor nutrients throughout the season. This is a common practice with, say, for example, tomato greenhouse growers, where they might sample every 2 to 3 weeks. And so what they can do is if they see the potassium levels decreasing, they can give it a shot of potassium to prevent those levels from getting so low that they affect yield. So for hemp, or for any crop, in order to compare your results from the lab to the established ranges, you need to collect the correct leaf. As a general rule, it's the most recent mature leaf, and this is for all crops. It tends to be the 3rd to 5th leaf down from the growing point. So for hemp, if I was collecting a sample here, I would select, don't count these leaves, 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be the leaf I would collect to compare with the sufficiency to the sufficiency ranges. As we all know, hemp is a new crop. There hasn't been much work to establish sufficiency ranges. There is a publication, a plant analysis handbook, that does give ranges, but they're very general. They're based on survey, and they definitely provide a good framework and a good guideline. But we're doing this project to help fine-tune these sufficiency ranges to North Carolina agriculture. So in order to do that, we are collecting samples from all over the state, as well as at the research stations under David Suchoff's, Janine Davis, and Margaret Bloomquist's studies. Ben Grandin is a grad student working on this project. He is an extension agent with Guilford County, and this is part of his master's thesis. He's organizing, reaching out to different extension agents, consultants, and other folks to collect samples from commercial farms, send them to the lab, and we'll analyze them. We're also going to be collecting information such as soil type, fertility, what nitrogen rates, etc. they've applied. Are they applying it on the surface or via fertigation? Of course, we're going to be looking at a lot of varieties based on the varieties growing on the commercial farm and then the variety trials at the research station. And we will determine if we're going to look at the nutrient content, and that will allow us to determine if there are nutrient differences based on fertility practices or variety. My hypothesis is no, I don't think that's going to affect the results greatly, but that's why we do research to determine if that is the case. So when you're collecting a sample, like I said, you're going to collect the most recent mature leaf, but you need to get a representative sample of your field. So you're going to collect 1 to 2 leaves off of, say, 20 to 30 plants, and you'll have about 40 or so leaves. Paper bag, send it to the lab, and we'll send you the lab report. For those of you familiar with looking at a plant analysis lab report, you will know that we show the concentrations, we also apply an index value to it, so it is very easy to interpret the results. That index values, if you are 50 to 75, you are good to go within range, and as you get below 50, you are getting more and more low and deficient. So right now, since we really don't have numbers specific to North Carolina, lab reports are not including index values, but just the numbers or the survey ranges in Bryson Mills, the Plant Analysis Handbook, in the comments. So when we collect all of this data this year, we will have the information to put into our system. So next year we will have the index values. So it'll be easier for ag advisors to understand where we are for fertility levels and give recommendations. So this project is a big, part of that. There's also Dr. Kristen Hicks is section chief for the plant lab, and so she's doing another project where she's looking at all of the data that has come into for the samples in our lab and kind of comparing that, looking at those ranges. And so we're going to look at that information compared to this information, and we'll really be able to fine tune information coming out of our lab to help with hemp farmers.